Hello and welcome back to the Jags and Tech YouTube channel. Last time we left it, we've just fitted the wings back to the car, and we're getting ready to prepare for paint, so body filler, sanding, all that great lovely stuff. But as part of that, to get the paint, I'm actually going to go to a shop tomorrow to pick up some paint and maybe get some advice, etc., as to which ones to use. Last time I painted a car was at least 12 years ago. What's changed? What about the waterborne paint? Should we be using the 2-pack, 2K clear, that kind of stuff that's a bit more dangerous? I do have an old air-fed mask. There is, a carbon activated filter in there, but I cannot for the life of me get it out without breaking it. So I'm going to have to do something about that. And then I've got a couple of trays that had 4 fans in for a computer. I'm going to put a couple of those together to make like an extractor box, as it were. So I've been looking at sort of like the foam type filtration sheets, as it were. Going to use some of that. I will use polythene to make like a paint booth within the garage, because obviously everything is painted white. I don't really want a black garage. So there's one other thing that I been thinking about. Apart from the air to feed this, I'm probably going to have to buy a breathing spec filtration system for the airline. But the other thing that, from an airline perspective, is we need to make sure that we get the moisture out of the air. And the way to do that, or one way to do that, is to cool it using pipes and things. And so I've watched a few YouTube channels on that. I might put a couple in the description if I remember. But effectively, I'm going to use some copper piping, go up and down, have some drains in it, etc. And just so that the air passing by it will cool the air coming from the compressor, and then that will condense it on the pipe and it will go down to the bottom. We'll have some T-pieces so it will avoid the pooling in the bottom of the pipes. And then you've got some taps at the bottom to drain off the water, and then you go and use the airlines, as it were. So let's get into that. Okay, so this is what we're planning on doing. We've got our garage. We've got a little shed to the side of it where the compressor is. So that's getting fresh air. And obviously in here we are going to be spraying a car. So chemicals, etc. That's why we need to wear the face mask. What I'm planning on doing is to just, the pipe comes in here, and somewhere along this wall I'm going to fix some copper piping. And so basically what I've got is, if we start at the top, the flexible pipe from the compressor is going to go into a fitting at the top. The 22mm pipe, which is roughly about 1 inch, I guess, in the US speak, is going to come down. We're going to put a T-piece in here. Then we're going to have a bit of pipe. Then we're going to have a compression tap, maybe an extra little bit of pipe on the end. And then we're going to have another bit of pipe and another right angle, 90-degree angle. And then we're going to have another long piece of pipe which has a 90 on the top, a bit of pipe, another 90, comes back down again, this time to a T, and then another tap, or a bit of pipe, and then a tap, and another bit of drain pipe. And effectively going to do the same thing again. Bit of pipe, a 90, be the output, and that could go in, whether that comes back down again or we just stop it halfway up here. But actively we're going to have a pressure regulator, an air dryer again, and a low micron filter, and then that effectively will, that's the outlet. Whether we have some kind of manifold here which gives us one or two of the quick release type fittings, something like that, it's yet to be decided, but that's effectively what we've got to do. So 8 bits of pipe, that's, they need to be at least 1 meter long, possibly a bit more. I've bought 4 3-meter lengths of that, and underneath here are all the fittings etc that I've bought. So we have 40 pieces, we have 10 90s, we have clips to fix it to the wall neatly, we have some reducers from 22mm to 15mm, we have some PTFE tape for the joints. We also have this fitting here. This is a 15mm to an 8mm compression, and the most important thing about that is if you take the 8mm compression off, it fits the standard thread on on the air fittings. So if you go so we've got a 22mm pipe coming along, you put a 15mm reducer on it, you then fix a bit of 15mm pipe to it. You can then put a 15mm compression fitting on it, like so. That'll go in there like that, and then you're back to the normal air pipe fitting sizes. Another thing is this wall of the garage. The compressor comes in down here behind that bin into this flexible rubber pipe, so it can go anywhere on this wall. Obviously we've got a few things. We've got the control box for the lift, so it could potentially go here. We have lots of signs on the wall. We can move those of course, but we also do have the 60 amp feed here, so that's obviously in the wall here somewhere. And then the rest is just storage mess, so I could put it anywhere. I'm thinking maybe nearer the double door might be a better idea. So maybe somewhere on that wall there would be a good idea for the piping. But I think what we can do is we can build it anyway and then decide where to fit it. Obviously if it's up there we're going to have to move some of those signs and things, but they're only little Phillips screws into plasterboard. There's no weight to them, so we could always move those. It's just whereabouts seems most appropriate. I did think up at that end by the window, but that would, with the workbench and everything else, that would limit the height of the piping. But yeah, we'll consider that once we've made it. As you can see, this is the start of it. We've got a 15mm pipe here. That will go on there, and that has the right fitting for the airline. So this is the the inlet for the start of the cooling. So we've got 15mm. We've then got a 15 to 22mm adapter, and that's going straight into it's a little bit grubby at the edge, but I've cleaned all the insides. I don't want the solder going everywhere. So this is 22mm. This is just an inline join. So we've got a solder join here, a solder join here, and a solder join here, and that will be the first part. So that's effectively that part there. So the flexible pipe from the compressor will go into there, and we've got 1.3 meters here, and then we'll go to a T-piece. But we haven't got that yet, so let's just do this piece here. I'll show you this one, and then we'll skip a lot of the others because it's just more of the same. So heat it up, add a little bit of solder. There you go. It's not pretty, we'll clean it up in a minute, but there you go, it's the first joint done. So 2 main things make sure it's really clean, and yeah, then you can use flux and solder, and don't go too mad with the solder. There you go, so run down that side. That's all effectively run away, so a touch more maybe. Okay, and that one's done. Let's get this bit here done. This is what I'm using to cut the pipe, and there's all sorts of them. This is an old one, donkey's years old. It was my late father's, I think. So yeah, you effectively put the pipe in there like that, line it up where you want it, and then gently tighten it up, run it round, gradually keep tightening it up, do a turn or two, tighten up a little bit more. Basically just doing that, and it'll gradually cut through. That clonk is because there's a chip in the wheel, but it works fine. You're trying not to press in it too much. Don't just whack it in really hard and then get it done in half a turn, because that'll be a terrible wedge. So yeah, just let it go. You'll find it eases off again. That's a little bit stiff, and it's eased off again now. So you can give it another little quarter of a turn. Quarter of a turn. Well, not even a quarter, just a tiny bit, to be honest. There you go. You can see where it's been running around on those rollers that are in there. See the rollers in there. You can see it's running around there. It does slightly tear it in, slightly push it in. So then you can just use this bit on here to deburr it. It's got the worst of it off. Check this end, that's okay. I've also got a file here, big round file, so I can just finally get rid of anything that we don't need. So there we go. So we've got that now. You clean it up and start using it. You know, it's just another one of these. Lots more of those. I'm just trying to. Basically, it's a 3 meter length, and I've decided that the long part of the uprights is 1.3 meters long. So 1.3 plus a 20. Sorry, these are 10 centimeters long. So that's 1.3 meters long. Add 0.1 of a meter, 10 centimeters. Add another one. You then end up with another 1.3. Why is that? Oh, I've only cut one off. I need to cut another one off. So effectively, you just go back there. So the other end's level now. So we'll cut this off at 1.3, which is about here, 10 centimeters. Yeah. So we'll cut that off there. That'll give us another 10 for there, or for post. This is going on here, so we need another one on the end just to make it. So that's one complete pipe. And now we're going to start with the right angle, the 90 on there, and then another 1.3, and we'll carry on from there. So cleanliness is everything. So you need, even though it looks nice and shiny, get a bit of wire wool, get right in there, and take. You can see there's. Take that. There is still some. It looks shiny, but it's still a bit. We want it dull, in effect, like you can see in there. You see where it's been rubbed. So you need to get in there with a bit of wire wool. Clean up all those. If you can compare that to that, you can see there is a difference. You don't want that shine because there's some kind of protective covering on there. So you want to clean all that off. So just a bit of wire wool, and it's basically the same for every single joint you're doing. Clean the female, the socket part of it, as it were, and clean the end of the pipe. I am just doing the very edge. I don't want to clean all down here because then the solder will go down that way and we don't necessarily need it down there. So that's that, and then just got a bit of flux, put that, wind all that around inside, and yeah, that'll eat into the copper when we heat it up, and yeah. Okay, so this is what we've ended up with. Black pipe here on the left comes in. That's the airline from the compressor. I'm probably going to, rather than have the inlet come in here, I'm probably going to choose somewhere around here, because obviously I don't want. At the moment, I've got like a 5 meter cable, 5 meter pipe, and I don't really want a 5 meter pipe because water can pool in there. So what I'm going to do is cut it off. Once I've got the right fittings, I'll cut it off, and then I'll put a right hand turn here and connect the pipe just about here. Going from 15mm to 22mm slows the flow of air, allowing it to condense a bit more. So effectively what I'm going to do is use that piece there, and put a right angle in and then just feed it in here. But I haven't got a shorter pipe. Maybe I can get one of those fittings with a barb on it, and then a Jubilee clip or something to hold it in. So we do have 4 drainage pipes, which, as you can see, there's a lot of pressure behind there at the moment. I haven't really used it, so I've just pumped it up and or just turned it on and let it hold pressure. What I did find was a couple of my joints were leaking. My recommendation would be to make it on a big flat surface and then test it before you take it off of that surface, because as soon as I heated it up to fix one of these joints, I was sort of propping it up and it just all moved and went out of true, and I spent a lot of time trying to get it level and to look sensible, and then it moved as soon as I heated it up, of course. So yeah, we've got the 4 outlets at the bottom, and then it comes out down here, goes back to 15mm Then we've got the 15 to, it's actually a 15 to effectively there is an 8. And then we've got a quick fitting, and if you just about hear it, there is a slight leak from that fitting. However, what I am going to be doing is putting the regulator and the air regulator, water and low micron filter to give me breathable air quality out of it. So yeah, that's pretty much what we've done. What would I do differently? I'd probably make these pieces shorter. They're 10 centimeters. So by the time you've got half a dozen, well, 3 of them in, and then there's 10 centimeters between each of these as well, you're taking up quite a lot of space. It's about 90, it's almost a meter wide, this you know, from if I put a right hand turn here and go into the pipe at that point, rather than having it come in at the top, if I do that, then from there to over here will probably be at least a meter. I mean, I can make that shorter, but I'm waiting for the fitment, you know, the filter elements that I buy. I'm waiting for that to see where it mounts, etc. Because obviously this is just standing up at the moment, and again, this piece isn't fitted because I'm going to do something down here. But yeah, overall, probably, you know, I would say make sure you put more solder than you need. I think that's the reason a couple of my joints failed, because I didn't put enough solder on there. And I will, you know, I haven't, you know, I've put a couple of, you know, I've put a pipe here and a pipe here, and I haven't there because I'm not quite sure what I might do is put a right angle on here, and then a T-piece here and a T-piece here and a T-piece there, join them all together so they just go to maybe just get a little pot or something. Otherwise this wall is going to get wet and stained. But I did have to shuffle stuff around. You know, still a hell of a mess, which I will tidy up. But yeah, it's there, it's working. Yeah, quite happy. Hopefully it was interest to some of you. Any questions, please give me, leave in the comments. And if anyone's interested in the parts list, I purchased pretty much everything from Screwfix. Overall, the materials cost around best part of £150. Doesn't include the bits of wood and some paint, of course, but yeah. So the copper, pipe, fittings, etc. best part of £150. Let's hope it's worthwhile. Thanks for watching. We'll get back to the car in the next video. Take care. Bye. She did well. I'm growing up still.